you guys do that we don't get to see, like the test sessions here. You've been testing for a number of days before the season starts. What is it that you guys are actually working on? What sort of things can you find out? You're learning about tires, about engine temperatures. What are you working on?
So there's a lot of things that you have to take in account, since of course, you know, in motor racing you don't have, let's say, every single day to figure out things like maybe in other sports. So when you're at the track, you have to, you know, maximize that time and find what works and what doesn't. So in, for example, my case, just to get to know the track, how the car responds to the track, and then also with the team to develop the car to the best situation possible with the balance and extract the maximum out of the car. And then in turn it goes back to me in, you know, using that balance or that type of grip that I'm gonna get in those different situations. So there's like long runs where you practice race simulations with more fuel, then there's qualifying simulations. So there's a lot of like different situations where as a driver you need to adapt, as a team you need to adapt, and then put that together.
And with the drivers that you've got coming up against you, a few rookies on the grid, everybody's got to be keeping an eye on Rashid Al-Daheri, on Freddie Slater. Is there anyone else in particular that you've got your eye on, or is everybody just another driver?
I see everyone as another driver. I know there are a lot of quick guys here, the level is really high. Some I already raced against with, some not, but I mean, at the end you have to beat everyone, so let's see.
Now the team has had a bit of a facelift. It looks completely different with the new Origin colours. Obviously for a driver it's maybe not so big a deal, but for us it makes you look a little cooler out there. How has the team evolved and adapted from last year to this year?
Yeah, because last year I was driving in PHM. Also, it's like really good team in Formula cars, and they are basically the top GT team in Asia. And people are really nice and professional. I learned a lot from them. And for this moment, so far I think going really well. The car is performed really good, and yeah, really high hope in the race.
So great to get a viewpoint from some of the drivers coming into the race battle that we have in front of us. Apologies for any issues there with the sound, but hopefully we'll be able to hear from the drivers that you missed over the course of this opening weekend. Well, it's certainly been a really exciting situation coming into the weekend. Freddie Slater managing to bag pole position for both Race 1 and Race 3 tomorrow. It'll be fascinating to see how the British Charger, who won the F4 Championship in UAE and Italy last season, now steps up to Formula Regional. This will be the first of 2 of his campaigns. He'll be racing in Formula Regional Middle East all the way through to win the title if he can. And of course, he'll also be taking on the European campaign as well. And what a circuit to start the season. The Marina circuit. They call this place the meeting place of champions. And it really has crowned some impeccable, magnificent world champions over the years, from Sebastian Vettel to Lewis Hamilton to Nico Rosberg to Max Verstappen. This place really has given us some amazing memories since its opening in 2009. Very nearly 20 years of racing around this circuit. I cannot believe it's gone past so quick. And what a great place for motorsport. The man alongside Freddie Slater on the front row of the grid is the Frenchman, Gigi, to his friends Evan Gilter, and he's brought the ART Grand Prix team with him for their first campaign in the Middle East. They mean business, and they've got not just 1, but 3 very quick drivers in the field. They've also got the Japanese talents Kanato Lee and the reigning French F4 champion Taito Kato, who of course is under the tutelage and guidance of the Honda Advanced program. So we've got ourselves a great set of racing drivers to go to battle in the Formula Regional Middle East Championship, and it will be a very exciting race with 28 minutes plus 1 lap to do. And if the first race is anything to go by, we could see an interruption or 2, depending on how clean they are over the course of the first race. So it could be really interesting to see how things continue to progress. And from Freddie Slater and Evan Gilter on the front row of the grid, we've got Rashid Al-Daheri, 3rd position on the grid, the Emirati, who just like Freddie Slater is a rookie in Formula Regional, although certainly no stranger to F4 fans. He's been a very strong competitor both here in the Middle East and of course in Italy, where he is now fluent in Italian. It's very clear the Emirati wants to drive for Ferrari one day, and he's certainly got his Italian down pat. 4th position on the grid, Jesse Cadascedo for the Pinnacle Motorsport team, the Mexican, who spent the 2024 season in Euro Cup 3 battling for victories. We should take a couple as well for the MP Motorsport squad, who sadly are no longer racing with us in 2025. They were here last year. They had all sorts of logistical challenges, and they've decided to take a back step in 2025. Hopefully we'll see the boys from the Netherlands back in the Middle East very soon indeed. So the grid is now cleared. The lights will go from red to green. That will signal the start of the formation lap rather than the start of the race. And once they've completed the formation lap, they will come back to the grid. 5 lights will go on. When they all go out, we'll be racing for the first time of the season in Formula Regional Middle East. Under the stars here at Abu Dhabi. What a spectacular challenge this is for all the drivers out there on the course. To green we go. The green flag waves, and the drivers get the formation lap on the starters' orders. So here's the grid in full. Freddie Slater and Evan Schilter, England versus France. Then Rashid Al-Daheri for the United Arab Emirates, alongside Jesse Cadasquedo for Mexico. 5th position on the starting grid will be Brando Badua, the Italian, alongside the Red Bull Junior Ernesto Rivera of Mexico. Then Yuga Muguchukwu, the Macau Grand Prix winner, 7th on the grid, alongside the Japanese driver Taito Kato, French F4 champion. 9th position on the starting grid for Racer Suwerthan, the British driver, alongside Kanato Lee of Japan. Then it is Yuru Che of China, very strong for the new Origin team, alongside Akshimura in P12. Teofil Nal of France for Santaloc, alongside his countryman Enzo Deligny. Then it is Aaron Cameron, the Bathurst 1000 driver from last year, Jin Nakamura for the Toyota Junior Program, 16th. Then Aditya Kulkarni alongside Lorenzo Castillo. Jaden Pariat lines up alongside Everett Stack, making his debut in Formula Regional. 21st on the grid for Kai Dadianani, the gamer turned racer. Jack Beaton, very unwell this week. Hopefully he can make some progress. Yaroslav Azalajo and Giovanni Mascio on the 12th row of the grid together. And bringing up the rear of the grid, it is the British driver Finley Green, hopefully fully recovered after his torrent year last season. And Wang Shengwei lining up 26th on the grid for Origin. 26 cars and drivers getting themselves ready for the start of the season, and it's definitely going to be a really tough battle up at the sharp end. Certainly Slater, Schilter, Al-Daheri will give no quarter and certainly let nothing else slip. Cadasquedo and Badua are bound to be contenders for the victories several times over the course of the season, and one of the rookies to watch out for is certainly going to be Ernesto Rivera. Another is Taito Kato, the Japanese driver who made French F4 his own at the tail end of last season. He is looked after by the Honda driver program. His countryman Jin Nakamura, who's got a bit of ground to make up in this race, is looked after by Toyota. Both of them will clearly be wanting Super GT and Super Formula factory drives in the future. Keep an eye as well on the Mumbai Falcons man, Racer Suwerthan, who's only going to be racing in the first 2 rounds of the championship before Dorian Pan, the lady driver, comes in and takes over for him from Dubai in February. And also watch out for Yuga Muguchukwu, the American, part of the McLaren Junior program, who dominated on the streets of the Gear circuit in Macau, my new favourite place. Finally got to go there at the tail end of last year twice, none of which, incidentally, were for the Macau Grand Prix. One was for karting and one was for moto surf, of all things. But now we've got Freddie Slater, the British boy wonder, certainly looking to challenge the authority of the likes of Lewis Hamilton, Lando Norris and George Russell in years to come. Evan Schilter, France's latest flyer, alongside him on the front row of the grid for ART. Rashid Al-Daheri, the United Arab Emirates' brightest hope in Formula Regional to go all the way to Formula 1, and he could do it. Jesse Cadasquedo, Brando Badua, Ernesto Rivera, then Muguchukwu, Kato, Suwerthan and Kanato Lee in the top 10. Watch as well for the Chinese talent, Liu Chi. He's been very strong. He was actually fastest of all in practice yesterday evening. So in the night time, he is a very competitive driver. He could make some moves. So bringing up the rear, his teammate, Wang Shengwei. And that is all 26 cars in position. The green flag flies at the back of the grid now. And that gives us the clue that we are ready to go racing. When the lights come on and then go out, we'll be racing for the first time this season in Formula Regional Middle East 2025. All 5 lights come on. Let's race at Yas Marina. And it's a great start for Evan Schilter, but a better one for Freddie Slater. Everybody's gone away from the grid in good stead. Rashid Al-Daheri's made a fairly clean getaway too, and there's already going to be some pressure down at the first corner. But it's Slater as round the outside. For second place comes Rashid Al-Daheri, getting the move on Evan Schilter. There is nothing the Frenchman can do to stop the Emirati in his charge. Up To second comes Rashid Al-Daheri. Perfect start for the man who lives 15 minutes away from this very circuit. Excellent work as they work through the right and through the left under the W Hotel. But Slater leads the way. Al-Daheri into second. Schilter in third position. And the Emirati is giving gusto to Freddie Slater, but he's got to shake off Schilter on the approach. Out of the turn. And there's already big pressure from the PHM of Brando Badoa. Watch out for the Italian. He will force the issue if he gets even a sniff of Evan Schilter's inside line. And there's a great challenge to the first corner of the Formula One layout. As up the inside, that's the Origin, that's the Chinese driver, Liu Ruche, who is battling away very closely indeed there with the Race GP of Jin Nakamura of Japan. Through the crest, down the drop, up to what could easily now be affectionately known as Verstappen's charge. On the inside line of the hairpin, could be a couple of dives up the inside, and there are. Looks like the Race GP of Enzo Deligny going wheel to wheel with his teammate Akshay Bora. They avoid contact, but the state of intent is there. Freddie Slater trying to drop the toe from Rashid Al-Daheri and Evan Schilter, and there's a spinner. That's one of the pinnacles. It's Finley Green. How much more bad luck can the Englishman take in the Middle East? He spent more time in hospital than he did in the pit lane last year, and it looks as though he's had even more bad luck at the start of 2025. He's tried to spin turn the car around, and he has ended up with a face full of wall, and I'm afraid that could trigger the safety car. So Slater leads Al-Daheri in front of Schilter, Badoa, Garashkeda and Yugachukwu side by side. The teammates back wheels. That is Kato and Lee, the two Japanese teammates at Pinnacle. How close did they come to a ferocious accident on the approach to turn one? Goodness me. Kato and Lee, the Japanese stablemates, absolutely unwilling to give each other any space. And further up in front, someone's gone off the road. That looks like a Pinnacle. That might be Jesse Kadashkado. So I think Kadashkado may have run wide at the W Hotel and lost a bit of time. That could let Yugachukwu and maybe Ernesto Rivera through as well. Indeed, he has got through, and so too has Reza Sawerthan. So that drops Kadashkado all the way to 8th. He's now under pressure from the Frenchman Théophile Nal in the Santa Lock. Track limits warning for the 99 already. So big problems for Giovanni Mascio in the first lap of the race. And I'm sorry to say that Finley Green is down at the back, but I can tell you he has got going again, so we do not have need of a safety car just yet. Look at the lead that Slater and Al-Daheri are getting away from the rest of the field with. It's a second clear already for Slater in front of Al-Daheri, then Schilter, Badoa, big move up the inside from Deligny. He's going to take on Liu Ruche, and he's past Liu. Very nicely done. So Liu's going to try and come back at him on the inside line, and he's still got him in the slipstream. And he's going to try and take back Deligny. So Liu is really stretching it. Liu and Deligny, the Chinese driver and the Frenchman, battling away for supremacy down at the braking zone for the chicane at the end of the lap. But out in front, it is Slater that leads on the pit wall, very intently watching. Race GP boys thinking they might have something here. They've certainly got a little bit of work to do compared to what they have in F4, and this man is going to make the charge. Jin Nakamura going side by side with the Aussie, who is no stranger to danger. Aaron Cameron racing in the Bathurst 1000 in 2024. And there are the Axel GP teammates. They're having a good race of it. Aditya Kulkarni of Great Britain along with the Indian Jaden Paliat. What an amazing squabble between those two. I tell you what, Formula Regional has definitely given us some good quality scraps already. So it's going to be an interesting challenge. For those who are asking about the camera position in the chicane, there was meant to be one, unfortunately, but it failed a little way before the start of the race. Very little the crew could do about that, sadly. So we've just got to do the best we can with what we've got. Slater, Al-Daheri, Schilter, Badoa, Yugachukwu, Rivera, Sawerthan, Garashkeda, Théophile Nal and Taito Kato from Kanato Lee, then Akshay Bora, Liu, Deligny, Cameron, Nakamura, and side by side, that is Liu and Deligny again, having a sensational battle. What a magnificent duel between the two of them. And as they run their way forward, they're going to drop down the crest. Fantastic stuff. And there's already a track limits warning infringement for two of the top 5. Rashid Al-Daheri in second and Brando Badoa in 4th. So the leaders are already under scrutiny from the officials. They've got to be so careful with how much exertion they put through these corners. you gain even the slightest bit of advantage by running off the road, they will pick you up. And Teofil Nala's got a track limits warning as well, as Giovanni Mascio. So they work their way onto the main straight again. There is Gigi, further back, Brandon Madoa, Yugamugan Chukwu, and Esther Nevada, the Red Bull youngster. Then Suerden versus Cadasquedo. Here comes Jesse Cadasquedo, the Mexican, going wheel to wheel with Razor Suerden. Suerden is doing his best to hold on. The British man is going to lose ground initially, but under brakes he should get this back. Cadasquedo's still going to try and hold him round the far side. No chance, thank you very much, says Razor Suerden. Come and have another go if you think you're hard enough. Excellent racecraft between the Brit and the Mexican. They gave each other all the space they needed to. Down in the braking zone. And again, it's the teammates, Deligny of France versus Nakamura of Japan. And a second warning for track limits already for Giovanni Mascio. He can't afford too much more than that. Penalties will start to come if you go over the limits. I'm still old school. I still feel that these track limits can be sorted out with a nice little bit of gravel either side of the race circuit. That's probably why I'm not designing race circuits in the 21st century. Slater, Aldeheri, Gilter, Badoa, Chukwu, Rivera, Suerden, Cadasquedo, Niall and Carto. To the first corner of what the Formula 1 configuration is, of course. So let's see if it continues. So let's see how the race battle is going to evolve in this mid-pack. We're not spending a lot of time looking at the leaders, and that's because not a lot is happening there other than that Freddie Slater is slowly checking out. His best time is a 150.0. On the last lap, Rashid Aldeheri set his best time, which is a 150.4. So it just gives you an indication of how much momentum Freddie Slater has found in the early stage of this race. There is Slater, and there is Aldeheri. As he crosses the line, the gap is almost 2 seconds already. So Evan Gilter running in third position. Then Brandon Madoa, then Yugamuga Chukwu. The Macau Grand Prix winner in P5. Look how close it's getting down to the first turn. As again Cadasquedo hustles Suerden. Suerden holds the inside line. Cadasquedo going far side. Trying to switch back to the inside line. Suerden chops across his bow. Fantastic again from Suerden. Excellent pushing there again from the Mexican Jesse Cadasquedo. And this has brought Teofil Nala into play, the Frenchman. Teofil Nala now really wants his move. So Teo is going to try and make his bid. Taito Kato and Kanato Lee still working hard. The Japanese teammates 10th and 11th. Akishimura, 12th position in his first Formula Regional race in the Middle East. Then Liuruche, Enzo Deligny, Jin Nakamura, Adam Cameron. Then Iditi Kulkarni and Jaden Parriott, the rookie teammates at XLGP. Lorenzo Castillo in front of rather battered and bruised Jack Beaton. Not physically, of course, I do mean internally. Everett Stack, Kai Dadianani, Yaroslav Vezalaho, Giovanni Mascio, Wang Shenwei and Finley Green. First warning for track limits coming in now for the 10. That's Lorenzo Castillo, so he's got to be careful in his midfield battle. And personal improvements in the second sector for both Ernesto Rivera and Razor Suerden. For the moment, it looks as though Suerden has at least seen off the initial challenge of Jesse Cadasquedo. So good work for Razor Suerden. Don't forget, he's not doing the full season, Suerden. He's only going to do these first 2 events in Abu Dhabi. By the time we get to race 3, it's going to be round 3, I should say. It's going to be Dorian Bain that gets in the car, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what she can make of it. Slater, Aldeheri, Gilter, Badoa, Yuga Chukwu, Ernesto Rivera, P6 for the Red Bull Junior Program. Hoping to find a little bit more space and try and work his way further forward. 7th place is up for grabs. Suerden, Cadasquedo, Niall, Carto, Lee, and then a little further back, this is the battle for 12, Bora, and then Liuduce, but it looks like it's going to be Enzo Deligny up the inside of him. So Liuduce is going to work his part from the far side, and Liu is desperately trying to hang on to it, but no, Deligny's going to try and hold the station. He does indeed as Liu runs wide, so Liu is not going to lose ground to much. But he might get a run on the inside of him, on the inside of the W Hotel, because he's now got a hard-charging Jin Nakamura in the mix. And it's not quite going to come off his way, so he's got to bail out of it. Interestingly, though, how at Race GP, it's the rookies that have made a better showing of things. Certainly, Akishimura doing a great job for the team in front of Enzo Deligny, Jin Nakamura. Chukwu is no rookie, of course, but the Macau Grand Prix winner is right up there in the top 5, trying to keep up with Brandon Madoa. Track limits warnings coming in thick and fast. One for the 66, that's Yudu Che. That will be his moment with Jin Nakamura and Enzo Deligny. And then the 88 has got one, that's Kai Daryanani. That is the man who discovered racing on iRacing. And Dan Wells got beaten by him and decided, hang on, this might be a kid worth my salt. So he decided to take him under his wing. Here comes the move from one of the Axel teammates. That's Kulkarni, I think, trying to make the... No, it's Pariat, sorry, making the bid on Kulkarni. There's the PHM of Everett Stack. Having raced with the team in F4 last year, he has stepped up to Formula Regional this. Still the Axel GP teammates are at each other's throats. There's Slater, and look at the gap he's pulling. That is just extraordinary. Again, just like we saw from Emanuele Olivieri in the F4 race earlier on, Freddie Slater's now stretching away from Rashid Al-Nahiri. You wouldn't think he was a rookie in Formula Regional, would you? Absolutely storming away. Very reminiscent of Andrea Kimi Antonelli. The only difference, of course, is that Andrea Kimi Antonelli didn't win on his Formula Regional debut. Freddie Slater looks like he's about to. It's two rookies, 1 and 2. Slater in first and Al-Nahiri in second. That will really keep the locals happy. Chilter in third. Doa in fourth, Yuga Chukwu in fifth, and another rookie right up there, Ernesto Rivera in P6. Razor Swerden, Jesse Kadashkado, Teofil Nal and Taito Kato rounding out the top 10 for the moment. Track limits warning for the number 9, that is Everett Stack. So no problems there for Everett. Can't afford too many more of those, the American for PHM. A couple of Americans in this race, of course. The other one, namely the man who dominated at Macau Grand Prix back in November, Chukwu for the McLaren Junior Programme. Doing a great job here tonight for Race GP. Not quite as dominant as Emanuele Olivieri was for Race GP in F4, but certainly still top 5 material. So Kulkarni remains in front of his teammate, David Pariat, who, if he's not careful, is going to lose out to the Samsonov of Lorenzo Castillo. He's got to keep it smooth. This is the part of the race now where the tyres are really going to be a factor. So I would suspect that it's going to be very much now down to who takes care of their tyres the best over the next 10 minutes that gets a real shot. So it'll be really interesting to continue as they march forward. There's Slater, still marching forward in the same team, in the same car as Andrea Kimi Antonelli when he came here 3 years ago. Did a solid job. My apologies, no, it was 2 years ago, wasn't it? That just shows you how quick it's been for Antonelli to get into Formula 1. I'm baffled myself with how quickly he's done it. But in 2023, he took race victories at Yas Marina, Dubai and Kuwait to win the title. And now it looks like Freddie Slater is marching in a similar path. British driver doing a great job. Now further back, this is Ernesto Rivera putting Yuga Chukwu under pressure. Now this is going to be a real test of Helmut Marko's signature. Was Ernesto Rivera worth the investment? Was he worth the intention? This is going to be his first big test. He was a race winner in Spanish F4 last year, certainly handled himself well, was very consistent, the Mexican, managed to come up with a lot of podium finishes. Now he's going to put the Macau Grand Prix winner under pressure. Chukwu's performance in Macau was genuinely one of the most spectacular I have ever seen, having been watching Macau for 30 years. Didn't even flirt with the barriers when he was leading the 2 races. Did an excellent job. So let's see if Yuga Chukwu can hold on from Rivera. Rivera is looking really quick, to be fair. Looks like he's been looking after his tyres quite well for the last 3 or 4 laps. Looking at his sector times, well, he's done a 23.9. which is about the same as Yuga Chukwu. Slightly off in sector 2 actually, is up the inside. That is the move from Taito Kato to take on Teofil Nal. So the Japanese driver gets ahead. Japan versus France all the way down the back straight as Taito Kato, the French F4 champion last year, takes on Teofil Nal, who is a French karting champion. Car number 5, track limits, that's the Australian Aaron Cameron for the 2nd time. Former Bathurst Nelson driver needs to watch his back. Here we go, side by side. Ernesto Rivera versus Yuga Chukwu. Can Rivera put the man who won Macau up against the ropes? Is he going to have the inside line to go through in smooth running? What can Yuga Chukwu do? Can he come back from it? No, he can't. Ernesto Rivera sorts out the Macau winner, Yugo Ogachukwu, and the American is left speechless through turn 1. That is why Helmut Marko spotted something in Ernesto Rivera. Good move. Up into P5 he goes. So a really exciting run. A fantastic situation. Freddie Slater leads the way by 4 seconds now, would you believe, to Rashid Al-Lahiri. Then it is Gilter, Badua, Rivera, Ogachukwu, Sawurden and Kanashkedo. Taito Kato running in front of Teofil Nal. There they are. There is Teofil Nal, number 4 in the Santa Lock. Teofil Nal has quite a long history with this team. Decided to continue it on before he steps up to the world of FIA Formula 3 at Australia. Here is another juicy battle as Yulu Che, Chinese driver, is having another great duel. This time it's with Aaron Cameron. Well, Aaron Cameron knows how to make his car as wide as a Buick. He's a Bathurst 1000 racer. Come on then, let's see what you've got. Going through, left, right, down the crest. And for the moment, Cameron has been able to hold that advantage. He actually had good momentum through the turn as well. And still the Axel GP teammates are pushing each other as Kulkarni forces his teammate Pariat into a lockup. And Castillo and Beaton are just waiting for a chance. There is Jack Beaton, the first time we've really seen him all weekend. Hopefully we'll see a lot more of him if he can get over this rather bad fever that he's picked up. If he can get rid of it by the end of tomorrow, then he can spend a couple of days in bed. Hopefully by the time we get to racing again on Wednesday, he'll be the polished article once again. This doesn't look like the Jack Beaton we know. And into the pits he comes. Oh no, sorry, that's his teammate. That's Razor Sawurden. Sawurden comes in. So something's gone wrong for Razor Sawurden. And that's something that's happened in the 3rd sector. So Razor Sawurden is in the pits, and he's not the only one by the look of it. Oh no, my apologies, that is one of the F4 cars being wheeled back to the garage. But Razor Sawurden is coming down pit lane, and that is not scheduled. There are no pit stops in Formula Regional. If you make one, it's a bad omen. Well, what a shame for Razor Sawurden. He was having such a great run. It was looking so good for Razor Sawurden. And his duel with Jesse Kadashkedo really was one for the ages. But I'm afraid it was not to be in race 1. Hopefully he'll bounce back in race 2. But with no pressure on him, Kadashkedo can now hold his half-second advantage over Taito Kato. But watch again as things begin to fluctuate from this point onwards. 10 minutes to go. And this all comes down to tyre management. Whoever can handle their tyres the best is going to get the advantage. And just because you're where you are now doesn't mean you'll still be there 5 minutes from now. The tyres will either come back to you or drop away from you, depending on how hard you've worked them. So down to the braking zone. These are the 2 Race GP teammates. That's Akshay Bora running in front of Jin Nakamura. Akshay Bora, of course, has big shoes to fill. His older brother Nikhil was very strong indeed here in the Middle East, was a race winner. Sadly, this race is not going to be won by Razor Sawurden. His first race in Formula Regional ends with what looks like a gear selection problem by the look of it. So very unfortunate indeed for the British driver who has Mauritian roots. I'm afraid it's all gone wrong. Up in the front end of the field, Freddie Slater has finally decided, I think I've looked after my tyres enough now. How many lap records can we break tonight? It's just disappearing. His last time, admittedly 2 seconds off the pace, but then pretty much everybody is 2 seconds off the pace. And Slater's last lap was a 1:52.0 compared to Rashid Al-Lahiri on a 1:52.5. It's just monstrous. But I tell you who is looking after tyres well, Brando Badua. He is currently matching Freddie Slater on pace, getting closer to Gilter, who in turn is also getting closer to Rashid Al-Lahiri. So this is what we were talking about. You've got to manage the tyres all the way through the race. It's not just the first 5 laps. You can't win this race in the first 5 laps. You can put yourself in a position to hold it or to gain more time. Great racing coming off the final turn of the Formula 1 circuit. Obviously they're using the same layout, but the start-finish straight is the support pit lane here. And the F1 start-finish straight, just another straight. Cameron really starting to come good. He's been so smart. He looked after the tyres nicely in the first 10 minutes of the race. Now he's starting to gain some ground. Other drivers around him are starting to slump, and this is where Aaron Cameron can really find the benefit. Can he put Akshay Bora under enough pressure to make him crack? Now the final turn, looks like Jin Nakamura's already got Akshay Bora, and Bora's struggling on tyres. Aaron Cameron isn't, he's loving it. Back up to the front, there's Rashid Al Daheri. You can see he's dropping back to Evan Shields-Air, and Brando Badua is catching both of them. Al Daheri does a 152.7, Shields-Air a 152.6, Badua and Rivera a 152.4. Ugachukwu picking up 152.4s as well, so Badua, Rivera and Ugachukwu have taken a step back to go 2 steps forward. They've been managing tyres, and now it's coming back their way. So this could work out. Slater's still well clear, but he's managed tyres as well as having the lead of the race. He's been very careful. He's done a 152.1 compared to Rashid Al Daheri on a 152.7. There is Slater, dominant out in front. See you later, guys. Al Daheri second, then Shields-Air, then Badua. Look back, and there will be Ernesto Rivera. There he is, the Red Bull youngster. And then it will be Ugachukwu. This is the duel for second, and it could tighten up in the next 3 minutes. So Al Daheri is just doing his best to hold it from Shields-Air, Badua, Rivera and Ugachukwu. There is Ugachukwu, the American, with that very distinctive silver plain helmet of his, very much in a nod to his racing hero, arguably the greatest American racing driver of all time, Mario Andretti. In a world where so many racing drivers come up with rather garish and rather extravagant helmet designs, it's really refreshing to see that Yugo Ugachukwu keeps it old school. Jesse Kadashkado and Taito Kato off the hairpin. The American, the Mexican and the Japanese, 6th, 7th and 8th. I'm really impressed with Taito Kato tonight. He's had a lot of aggro from his teammate and from a lot of other drivers around him, but he's found himself in a position to challenge the American and the Mexican up in front and still have enough tyre life to do something about it. So Taito Kato is definitely going to be on the shopping list of the Super Formula and Super Formula Lights teams in years to come. Definitely one to watch for the future. Slater, Al Daheri, Shields-Air, Badua and Rivera. That's your top 5 for the moment. Ugachukwu still there in P6, but could get some pressure from Kadashkado and Kato. But the first 2 runners in this race are rookies. And if you were worried that Taylor Barnard departing Formula Regional after 2 championship attacks might mean that there would not be a British driver at the front end of Formula Regional Middle East, well, you were wrong. Freddie Slater is right there to fill the breach. And into the pits has come Kai Dadianani. So Kai Dadianani of the Evans Grand Prix team is trundling down pit lane, and that is very unfortunate indeed for the British driver under the tutelage of Dan Wells, the man who went from iRacing to car racing. It's not gone well for him at all this time though, by the look of it, sadly. Ugachukwu in front of Kadashkado, Kato, Niall, Lee and Deligny. So Deligny trying to get into that top 10. Find a way past Kanato Lee. Can he make it work? Very tricky. So still, the battles will rage. It's definitely going to be a really strong challenge down to the braking zone. Looked to me as though Taito Kato is trying to catch out Kadashkado under braking. Big risk to try and get closer to his rear wing. All it takes is to miss that braking point by half a metre or so, and suddenly you're making contact with that rear wing. The number 12, third warning for Brando Badua. Third warning for track limits. That could come with a penalty. You've got to be careful, Brando. And it's a third warning as well for Akshay Bora. So Slater leads by Rashid Al Daheri, 6.7 seconds. He clearly saw the earlier F4 race. Olivieri put in clear and thought, 6 seconds. That's nothing, mate. I can do even better than that. And that's exactly what he's doing. Al Daheri, second place, 3 minutes to go. Evan Shields-Air and Brando Badua, but Badua is under scrutiny. A third track limits penalty might be coming his way, so he's got to be careful. Third track limits warning, I should say, not a third penalty. But if he does get a penalty, we'll be the first to know about it. Currently still 4th. They have a habit of adding the time mid-race to the driver's race tally here in Formula Regional. So if Brando suddenly ends up running behind the likes of Ernesto Rivera and Hugo Kachukwu, will know he's got a penalty, even though he's still ahead of them on the track. So Slater leads, Aldeheri second, it's a rookie 1-2. And of course, both of them drivers for the Mumbai Falcons racing team, although you wouldn't think they both were, because Rashid Aldeheri is racing in the traditional Yaz Heat racing colours for the team that's based just over the road from this part of the circuit. They're essentially based in one of the garages round the corner. And I think I'm right in suggesting that this is the very first time that a Formula Regional car has been painted in the Yaz Heat colours. Countless F4 cars and plenty of go-karts. But I don't think a Formula Regional has ever been bedecked in the Yaz Heat livery. So it just shows you what brilliant things Rashid Aldeheri is doing. Across the line goes Slater, 1:52.7. Rashid Aldeheri, 1:52.8. So he's picked up the pace a little bit, but the damage is already done. The gap is 6.7 seconds, and there's no way that Slater is going to lose that if the car is to his liking. Third place for Evan Schilter, just under 2 seconds back, but he's not matching the guys in front for pace. He's just a little way back, only by a tenth or so, but it's enough to not have much hope of getting higher than third position. But a very solid start for the Frenchman. So it'll be a really interesting continuation going into tomorrow. The reverse grid race is definitely going to give us a little bit more of an indication as to what these guys can do. But Freddie Slater having a great time of it in front of Rashid Aldeheri and Evan Schilter. Oh, side by side. Looks like Kadashkado's going to have some pressure from Taito Kato. The Japanese driver has got a little bit more tyre life. Who's going to come through ahead? Is it Kato or Kadashkado? There's only one of them in there. Kato has had to drop back. Now, that is Kato. He's lost a lot of ground. And there is an investigation, apparently. Oh my goodness, that's Aditya Kulkarni, and under investigation for forcing Lorenzo Castillo. No, for forcing his teammate, Jaden Pariat, off the circuit. Well, I do not want to be in the Axel GP tent after this. There's one cardinal rule in motor racing: you can race your teammate as hard as anybody else, but don't hit each other. You don't want the fallout after the race. So through they go, into the left-hander. For the moment at least, Kulkarni is holding on in front of Lorenzo Castillo, but clearly he's going to have a word with the stewards later. Just two retirements from this race, Reza Suwerden and Kai Daryanari, two British drivers, I'm afraid. But the other British man in this race, the time has run down to 0 for him. He's on the final lap, and Freddie Slater is going into his, well, he's currently on the penultimate lap, I should say. He's only just started one. So he's going to have to do 2 laps rather than 1. The timing of it did not work in his favour, so he's going to have to do 2 laps rather than 1, but he doesn't mind. The tyres are going his way, and he's now 7 seconds pretty much clear of Rashid Aldeheri, the Emirati, who lives just a quarter of an hour away from the circuit. These are the streets and roads he's been watching since he was a youngster. He grew up in this part of the world, literally. And ever since Formula One has been in the United Arab Emirates, Rashid Aldeheri has had the dream that he can represent his nation in a Grand Prix cathedral. And he's got a chance now, looking how good he is doing on his first appearance in Formula Regional, chasing down his fellow rookie, Freddie Slater. And the pair of them are making Schilter, Badua and Hugo Kachukwu look like rookies, rather than the rookies they themselves are. Warning flag for the 5, that is Aaron Cameron. So I'm not entirely sure what that's for, whether that's for exceeding track limits too many times or whether that's an incident. But a really exciting run. And as they come through, Freddie Slater is going to have a fantastic run. It's an off-track infringement by the look of it for Aaron Cameron. That's why he's been given the warning flag. And as we already mentioned, Aditya Kulkarni is under investigation for contact with his teammate, Jaden Pariat, that has dropped Pariat down to the back of the grid, save for 1 car, and that car is Finley Green. And there goes Freddie Slater out of the final turn, and into the final lap he goes. The British driver is not just going for the victory, he's going to romp it away. His father Adrian is up in the stands. I know he'll be very proud of his young man. He's done an absolutely fantastic job tonight. So too is this man, Rashid Aldeheri. You have no idea how difficult it is to come into this championship as a rookie and be right up at the sharp end. But what a performance it has been from both Freddie Slater and Rashid Al Daheri to get into the first two positions and drive away. They have been exceptional tonight. Gilter, Badua and Rivera have had no response for them. Full credit though to Ernesto Rivera, and credit as well to Taito Kato. The Japanese driver's got ahead of Yugo Chukwu. He's got ahead of him, P6 now. I keep referring back to Taito Kato. Do not ignore the Japanese wonder kid. He is going to be something special in years to come, and he's certainly proving it tonight. So Taito Kato up to P6 now, behind Rivera, who is behind Brando Badua, who is behind Evan Gilter of France, who is chasing Rashid Al Daheri, who is 7 seconds behind this man. Freddie Slater has made this racetrack his playground tonight. Rashid Al Daheri in second has done everything he can to fend off Gilter, Badua and Rivera, and full credit to him. It was looking at one point that his tyres were going to depreciate. He brought them back. Rivera's got one last shot on Brando Badua before the finish, but the man up front, Freddie Slater, has been exemplary. It takes real genius to win on your Formula Regional debut. We are witnessing true genius tonight. The British boy wonder, Freddie Slater, comes out of the final turn and wins on his Formula Regional debut at Yas Marina. Rashid Al Daheri will come through in second place on home soil, and his family and friends will be ecstatic. Evan Gilter on ART Grand Prix debut gets a third place. It is a race of firsts. Slater wins on his debut. Al Daheri, podium on his debut. ART Grand Prix, podium on theirs. What a sensational race. And an absolutely flawless drive from Freddie Slater. And there is a 5-second penalty that's handed out post-race, and it's for Aditya Kulkarni. It looks like that contact with Jaden Pariat has resulted in a 5-second penalty. And there is a separate incident, by the way, between Jaden Pariat and Kai Dadianani that will be investigated after the race. Well, it has been an absolute masterclass from the British driver Freddie Slater, F4 champion in UAE and Italy last year, and now he is on the march already to a title in Formula Regional in the Middle East. He knows this place well, of course. He won the title here last year in F4. Now he's looking to go up one. Domination by Freddie Slater tonight. He wins on his Formula Regional debut. Rashid Al Daheri second on his. Evan Gilter third from Brando Badua. Ernesto Rivera, the Red Bull youngster, in 5th position. Yugo Chukwu, Taito Kato, Enzo Deligny, Deofil Nal and Kanato Lee in the top 10 from Jesse Kadashkedo, who sadly falls to 11th in front of Jin Nakamura and Aaron Cameron. Luduce and Akshay Bora from Aditya Kulkarni and Lorenzo Castillo. Jack Beaton all the way down in 18th, not his week. Everett Stack, Giovanni Mascio, Yaroslav Vezalaho and Wang Shengwei. Then Jaden Pariat in front of Finley Green. The race had just 2 retirements, both British, Kai Dadianani and Reza Suwerthan. Well, man, oh man, is the man who has come through for the victory going to have a smile on his face tonight. It takes a real Superman to win on his debut in Formula Regional, and I stress that for historians, it's something that even Andrea Kimi Antonelli didn't do 2 years ago. He won the title once he got his act together, but this man has already got his act together. The Englishman comes to pit lane. Freddie Slater has already worked out how to crack open the victory bubbly in Formula Regional, and it took him 28 minutes. Absolutely extraordinary. Slater is your top banana tonight. Rashid Al Daheri second, Evan Gilter third. Freddie Slater leaps from the cockpit, and the Mumbai Falcons greet him. They were champions in 2021 and 2022, as well as in 2023. Last year, took a tarpon and stopped the bandwagon. Freddie Slater looks like he's going to give it back to them. Rashid Al Daheri second for the team. Despite being in Yas Heat colours, he is racing under the Mumbai Falcons banner. So it's a 1-2 for the team. And Evan Gilter, third for ART on their debut in the Middle East and Evan Shilter's first race in the UAE. Excellent performance from all three drivers. Evan Shilter is not a rookie in Formula Regional, but he is a rookie in the Middle East. He's never raced out here before, so exemplary performances from our top three, who did such a sensational job under the lights at Yas Marina.
其实你这拍不拍都行。我是不是我可以上去拍啊？我是不是可以上去拍？我这不行，你那拍不到，太窄了。他那基本就是个侧面。就是侧面，太侧面。那你也可以，你可以在那边，就是从那个窗户那儿，它不是就是我们原来那个。上好了，下了。你好。
So let's catch up with our top three drivers from the first race of the season. Firstly, Evan Gilter, third position, first race for the ART Grand Prix team. Your first race over here. You couldn't have really started too much better than that, given the circumstances.
We could have done better, surely, but we are happy about our first race for ART and for myself in the UAE. And yeah, we struggled a bit with the degradation today, but we will come back stronger tomorrow, work on what we have to improve, and yeah, to come back on the order, and it's going to be good. Yeah.
Really excited to see what you can do tomorrow, Gigi. Well done.
Sure, thank you.
Excellent. We speak to Evan Gilter. Now we'll talk to the man in second position on home soil for the Yas Heat Colours and Mumbai Falcons. Rashid Al Daheri, your first ever race in Formula Regional at home, your backyard, and P2. What a great start.
Yeah, it was quite an interesting race. I think there was a few things that we were unexpecting. It was quite interesting because we had quite a bit of testing, which is unusual for us. But there's always stuff to learn. We just found out. So we had, yes, quite an interesting deg compared to what we were expecting. But we were able to manage it and, yeah, finish P2. Looking forward to more great action and maybe more silverware from you tomorrow, Rashid. Well done. Thank you very much.
We'll bring on the race winner, who is not just the race winner, but also the rookie winner on debut. Freddie Slater will take home 2 trophies tonight. Freddie, pole position by a considerable margin for race 3, a great run in race 1. Is this weekend yours already?
No, not at all. There's still a long way to go, of course. Obviously, you just keep working. I've got my head down to keep working on how we can improve and become a better driver in the long run. So, no, a tough race then, obviously, with different conditions. Obviously, with the situations we get dealt with the tyres, it's difficult to adjust in and learn in practice to make it easier for the race. But no, quite a bit of degradation that I don't think anybody was expecting. But no, I think great preparation for future years to come as well. And yeah, good fun.
Looking forward to seeing you go for another one tomorrow afternoon. Well done.
Yeah, the afternoon race should be fun. I'm looking forward to the reverse grid.
Good job, Freddie.
Thank you.
No, this one is okay. Because down is a problem. You have to take that. I don't think the driver what do you want me to tell me? I'll do it right now, then you get to know the answer. What do you want me to do? This lens will yeah, but then there are many ways. Like I could sit down and do it, and I don't know, I could do it this way. How would you change it? You would just keep it like that.
A great start for the ART Grand Prix driver. Definitely a race winner over the course of this season by the way things are stacking up. In second position for the United Arab Emirates, Rashid Al-Dahili. A magnificent race on debut in his backyard. There's so much more to come from him this season. But your race winner for the United Kingdom, Freddie Slater. Champion in F4 last year, rookie winner on debut. He will take 2 trophies tonight. It's my honour to invite Mr. Ongmar Chai, the Deputy General Manager of the International Sales and Marketing at GT Tyre China, to congratulate the drivers and present them with their trophies. What a fantastic night it's been. Third position then for France and ART Grand Prix, Evan Schutter. In second position for the United Arab Emirates and Mumbai Falcons, Rashid Al-Dahili. And in first position for the United Kingdom and Mumbai Falcons, Freddie Slater. He will also take the rookie trophy. It's double bubble for Freddie Slater tonight. Excellent performance from our drivers in the first race of Formula Regional Middle East 2025 here at Yas Marina. There are 2 more to go this weekend, 1 in the afternoon and 1 in the late evening tomorrow. So there's plenty more action to come where that first race came from. But now the drivers get to celebrate in style, and it's going to be an exciting one. Shilter runs away, and the other 2 from Mumbai Falcons want a bit of a party. It's time for Freddie and Rashid to get busy with a busy. Top 3 drivers. It is an amazing end to the weekend for them, or end to the day I should say. Saturday was a good one. Tomorrow they have 2 more races to go. That's it for Saturday. 4 more races to come on Sunday from James Stanton and the whole team here at Abu Dhabi. We'll see you bright and early tomorrow for more from F4 and Formula Regional here in the Middle East. Bye for now.